So I have to admit that I wasn't much of a fan of this book, and I did read the book specifically so that I could watch the movie, but the movie trailers looked good, so let's find out how the book compares to the movie. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel at least twice a week, and then movie reviews here at the weekend. I am bringing you a book versus movie in the week this week. Everything's all a little bit upside down at the minute. All of my social links are in the description box below, including my blog and my Goodreads, so you can keep up with my reading and watching in between times. And I love to make book versus movie videos. I will leave a playlist of them linked up above. They are always spoiler free, and I do make them on the understanding that once an author sells the rights to their book, they are giving up the rights to basically all of it. It could just keep the same title or not even keep the same title. I'm not saying that a book always has to be the same as the movie, but I like making the comparison and bringing them to you here. So today I am going to be talking about Our Chemical Hearts by Crystal Sutherland, which was made into an Amazon Prime movie just named Chemical Hearts. I will say I've moaned a little bit recently on here about YA novels being made into movies and always using the same actors, and this movie has different actors. Yay, that definitely has something going on for it, but I wouldn't say those actors were terribly appealing or terribly kind of like special to watch on screen. I don't know, this film felt very, very low budget. As I say, I wasn't a massive fan of the book. The book itself feels very kind of stream of consciousness. We've got Henry narrating it. He's a writer. He wants to be, you know, very arty. And so we do have that going on in the book, which is, you know, commitment to the character, but it just didn't suit my listening as I was reading it. I read it over a couple of days. I was kind of in and out of the car and doing bits around the house, and I was listening. I think I finished listening to it in the gym. And yeah, it's very, very stream of consciousness. A little bit kind of self-indulgent. It's one of the things that sometimes puts me off some YA novels, when the characters just get too self-indulgent and it's a very character-driven book and we don't get a whole lot of plot outside of like what's going on with themselves. And I do know that, you know, as a kind of like point of growing up, that teenagers are egotistical, and that's like part of their, like, you know, when you're looking at child development, that's part of that. But yeah, it was just too much on that side for me. And I will say the film felt very similar as well. Like, Henry felt like a well-formed character, but he was very, very egotistical. And then our kind of like second main character, Grace Town, I don't know, I just kind of never really connected with her. I felt like we got to connect with Grace a lot more in the book than we did in the film. The actress plays her as very, very like softly spoken and kind of reserved, and you know, sometimes I found it difficult to kind of follow her when she was on screen, and so maybe that's why I had a bit of an issue connecting with her as a character in the movie. I definitely feel like I got to know her a lot more in the book than I did in the movie. So if you're just going to watch this as a movie, I feel like you'll get a lot more of Henry than you do of Grace, so just to be warned. As a like side-by-side comparison, I would say that the dialogue and the plot as a whole pretty much follows the book, like word for word. A lot of the dialogue is exactly the same in the movie as it was in the book, and it kind of sticks in my head because obviously I did do this on audio, so I like heard the character saying it in the book and I heard the character saying it on screen. I will say that Henry's sister has a slightly smaller / different role to play in the book than she does in the film. She's definitely a bit more of a kind of like sage words of wisdom character in the film than she is in the book. In the book, I feel like she's a bit more like do as I say, not as I do type of character, and kind of the butt of the jokes in the family, whereas I don't feel like Henry's parents get as involved in the movie, and so they don't get the chance to make his sister the butt of the jokes, if that makes sense. That was a difference that kind of stood out a little bit. And then the only other kind of major difference that I found between the book and the movie was the fact that both of these characters are working on their school newspaper, and in the book their kind of editorial experience goes a different direction to the way it does in the movie. And again, no spoilers here. If you really care about the state of the school newspaper in this plot, not going to spoil it for you, but it's a different experience in the book than it is in the movie. And I really liked the way it kind of played out in the book. It kind of led into a key point that leads towards the ending of the book in the book, whereas it doesn't play as big of a character in the movie, if that makes sense. I also found there's kind of more than one like romantic sexy scene in the book, but there's like a key pivotal sex scene in the book. And again, that kind of plays out pretty much word for word in the movie as it does in the book. But in the movie, I found it so cringeworthy. In the book, I think it's written really quite well. It's, you know, one of the kind of romance in the book is part of it that I did actually connect with and did actually enjoy. Whereas the any sort of romantic aspects in the film, the sex scene in particular, I found very, very, very cringy and kind of got up and walked away whilst that bit was on. It just wasn't, I don't think it was done very well at all. So yeah, overall, I would say that the film and the book are pretty much the same. There are a few minor, slight differences that I really don't feel like make a difference to the feel or the characters or the plot in any way, shape or form. I wasn't a massive fan of the book. It was very much too stream of consciousness. I didn't connect with the characters terribly well. I didn't like them. You know, I know you don't have to like characters to like a book, but in this kind of book, I feel like you have to be kind of behind them, either sympathizing or empathizing with them in some way, and I just wasn't. And I felt like the same thing could be said for the film. It felt very like weak in terms of plot and weak in terms of character development. I found myself switching off as I was watching it, walking away and doing other things. I did watch it so I could bring you this book versus movie. I didn't like stop watching it, but I just didn't connect with either of them really. So there you have it. There's my opinion on Our Chemical Heart / Chemical Hearts book versus movie. Just fairly negative overall. Let me know if you've read the book or watched the movie. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Do you agree with my comparison? And as always, if there is a particular book to movie adaptation you would like to hear my thoughts on, let me know in the comments and I will happily go and read and watch that for you. I do have a couple coming up in the pipeline. If you have seen my October TBR, you will know about at least one of those, but I do have a couple of others coming up. And if there are any new to streaming movies you would like me to review here at the weekend, again, let me know in the comments. I will bring those to you here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, but let me know in the comments. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on my next video, and hit that notification bell so that you get that notification popping up as soon as I post. I will be back with more bookish content for you very soon, so I will see you then. Thanks for watching.